My name's Kylene Frost, and my husband's trying to run 250 miles.
What I think about the Border to Border run, and I think they're crazy, but I think it's a wonderful opportunity to help the causes that they feel very strongly about.
One of the things I did to Sean, whether for good or for bad, is I built into him the desire to always work hard and do your best, and you never give up. That's the Frost motto. Little did I know that that's going to turn into running 250 miles across Kansas.
So I had this idea to run across the state a couple years ago, and Sean Frost was crazy enough to entertain the idea. We had the route, and then we had to find a date to do this. And I kind of blew him off last year with another race that I signed up for, and I made sure that I put it on the calendar for this year, and here we are.
My name's Sean Frost, and I'm getting ready to run from the north border of Kansas to the south border of Kansas. All right, it's 10:15. The night before, almost unpacking. Gotta get out of the house by 3 to get to Johnny Bros. It's happening. Here we go.
We are about to get going here. Beautiful morning. How's the feel, guys? Ready to go?
My job's done.
Thanks to Chris for driving us up here.
It's a good time.
Thanks to Brandon for starting us out with the pacing. And Sean, I'm sure I will be sick of you at the end of this.
Let's do it.
I started running in August of 2021, and I read a book called Born to Run, and it was given to me by my old boss, and I don't think he had any clue what that would turn into. But at the time, I could barely run a mile. I couldn't. I had to stop and walk. It was August, so it was really hot, and it was a terrible time to get back into running. But I kept getting injured every time I would run again. And so in the Born to Run book, the author was like me. Every time he would get into it, he would have a lower back injury. And he tried all sorts of different remedies and ways. And then he worked with this coach in the book. And the coach fixed him. And they were talking about these ultra marathoners and these Tamahura Indians. I'm sure I butchered that. And basically, people brought them to elite races by offering corn for their villages, and they would come to these elite races and win. And so the author ended up running an ultra at the end, and I was like, what was that coach doing? And I found out that coach had a book, and I started reading his book, and I did a training plan from his book. And that's when I caught the bug. You know, I did a half marathon, and then I met some of the Buckleheads, and actually got invited to a race. So I did a half marathon, then I wanted to do a full marathon, and then I was like, I want to try an ultra, so I went and I did a 50K, and the race director came up to me afterwards and was so inviting and welcoming, and he said, hey, I've got a timed race in January called the Cactus Roulette, and I want you to come and check it out. And so just that personal invitation got me to do a 12-hour race, which was totally outside of my comfort zone, and it was the perfect setting, and the community was awesome, the atmosphere was awesome. And I ended up winning the race. There was only 6 people in it, but I won the race, and so it was just an absolute blast, and I was hooked. I knew from there on that this was my sport, this was my community.
So I started running to get in shape to play basketball a little bit better, and so I started running around Washburn University here in Topeka. It's a 2-mile loop that I quickly fell in love with running, and I wanted to see where that journey led. So I did a half marathon later that fall, then went to the Garmin Marathon in Kansas City, and from then on I knew that I wanted to, venture into the ultra world, and now I find myself, loving ultra running and enjoying miles and miles with my friends here in Topeka.
So I met Jonathan back in, I believe, the fall of 2020, while we were both prepping for our own separate ultras. I was prepping for a 100-miler, and we kind of found each other through social media, and then basically it was one of the, hey, you run long, I run long, let's run together, let's do some epic things. And I could probably not even comprehend how many miles that we've shared together, because it's just, we always try and push each other. We ran races, we failed in races together, and we've just been there. And then Sean, I met him through social media too, and it was kind of one of those, hey, I started seeing him on the trails, and then we ran a couple times, and then I basically just asked him, hey, do you want to join this group of, I think we were Buckleheads at the time, but a group chat where there's a lot of banter and trash talking, and also we run really far. And hey, you want to join? And he's all for it, and it's been, running ultras ever since.
I get asked a lot what I think about Sean's running, and a lot of times it happens when I'm still asleep. He's an early riser, so he gets a lot of miles in before we are awake. So he's still here to participate in most everything. I feel like it's been a great hobby for him to have something outside of work and family, and he gets a lot of joy out of it, and we get a lot of joy getting to see him compete. And I'm a competitor at heart, so I'm all for it. You see him in the trees, and you take off running, and you help bring him into the finish line.
And sometimes when I look at some old photos, he did play a lot of different sports as a young child. He did your basketball, he did soccer, he did this, baseball, he did them all. But he also did Choi Kwan Do, all right? And so I know some of you have seen some of the pictures he's posted where he's jumping over other people with his legs out. That was a move from Choi Kwan Do. He also, when he was younger, ran cross-country high school, cross-country running, and he was able to letter in his freshman year, which was kind of a unique achievement at that point in time, because they had to have a specific amount of time that they could do the race in, and he made it way back then. And when we were moving away from that area, the people on the cross-country team were really, really disappointed to see him leave. So, and he did a lot of his training in the mountains of Georgia, okay? And so he really likes trail running also.
When he was younger, he was a little bit on the crazy side. And one transgression he had one day, I made him run a mile or so, and he had to run so hard. It was in the heat, it was in Florida, and he threw up. Despite that, he's now a runner, and I've been supporting him as a crew supporter for his various runs.
So I'm part of this group called the Buckleheads here in Topeka. It originated from a Saturday group that just enjoyed doing longer runs on Saturdays. And I was lucky enough to be introduced to the right people, and we love what it's become. There's about 50 of us now in this group, and it started with, I think, about 5 people doing group runs on Saturdays. So to see it grow is pretty amazing, and it's just the coolest thing about it is that it's a bunch of crazy, awesome, really wonderful, genuine people that love running and love supporting each other in that.
The Bucklehead community is just incredible. So it's been really, really fun, and that group supports each other through so many different things in life, in races. I mean, just imagine people driving around small towns in the middle of the night to get you candy or burgers or Gatorade, you name it. They're not sleeping. They are just driving through small towns trying to find their runners and support them through it. And that's what I experienced just a month or two ago at the Prairie Spirit 100 race, which is on the trail that we will be running. That's part of the path that we're going to be running for this border to border run. So it was an incredible experience. I don't think I would have gotten through it without friends being there and lifting me up in some of the hardest points of a 100-mile race. I'm running with Caleb, and he had something I hadn't considered.
What was it that you told me? I was just telling him, like, you're down to double digits instead of still being in single digits to go. So
98 miles to go. That blew my mind. Oh, it was so exciting. And so that's why I'm so excited that I get to do this one with Jonathan Prosser, and so many Buckleheads are going to help out, and so many people have already come out from different walks of life and different races and that we've been a part of. And so it's just incredible to see all the generosity and all the people just supporting us trying to do something hard.
So my name is Devin Nelson. I live here in Topeka, and I've been running ultras for about probably 5 years. I got into this space in Topeka through running OCRs, and then eventually got into trail running. Thank you to Josh Watson, because he's the reason why I even knew anybody ran 100-milers. And then it started with him, and then that led to meeting other people that run long distances on Saturdays, and then that eventually turned into the Buckleheads. And it's been a progression ever since. We're always pushing each other. It is a wonderful community here in Topeka. We're supportive of each other throughout all life endeavors, even outside of running. And that's what makes our particular group, the Buckleheads, so unique and supportive. And you just don't find that a lot in the world in general.
The Frost motto has always been, you give everything you've got. And now it even gets to turn into a really nice charitable thing for Topeka Collegiate. So that's the Frost motto, is always been to, give it your best.
So I'm really, really excited about this effort. And then I'm also excited about the opportunity to raise awareness for the causes that we're raising money for. So I just want to talk briefly about Topeka Collegiate. And it is a school that shouldn't even exist in a community of our size. The founders were incredibly visionary to say that it could happen. And so many people have supported the school to make it a reality 40 years later. It's been around for over 40 years now, and it's the best educational opportunity in Topeka. It's magic in there. The atmosphere, the environment, the teachers, the students, everybody has a joy and curiosity for learning that definitely becomes a lifelong thing. And what we're raising money for is the endowment, and the endowment is what's going to keep it around for another 40 years, hopefully 80, 120 years. And there are students that cannot afford to pay full tuition. And so the endowment supports scholarships to help those families. And we want to have all the families that we can that are interested in coming to Topeka Collegiate, that are interested in getting the best education in Topeka. We want them to be at our school. So any gifts that go to the school are being matched right now up to $500,000. And so we're really grateful that you would consider giving, and it's going to help more families be there that want to be there, that may already be there, and that need support to continue to be able to stay at the school.
I chose Lifeline Family Services because I feel very passionate about it. A lot of the stuff that they do is guidance counseling for families, expectant moms. They just come alongside and help walk through whether it's a financial burden or just a difficult time.
So in my way of showing support to Sean and Jonathan in their border-to-border run, I'm going to ride my Little Green motorcycle out, and the joke is I'm going to throw cheeseburgers at them as I'm driving by. But yeah, what they're doing is incredibly unique and special and for the right cause. And when they first threw the idea of running 250 miles across the state of Kansas, no one really even thought they were joking, because the sport of ultra running, no distance is out of reach. And yeah, that's what makes this awesome.
So the route we start at the Nebraska border just north of White Cloud, Kansas. And the first day is 66 miles through a lot of little towns that I can't remember all their names. But we go from the border to Oskaloosa, Kansas, and that is where we will end day one. And we were planning to sleep on a mat in the back of my van. Day two is from Oskaloosa to Ottawa, Kansas, and that is 58 miles. And this we get to run through Lawrence, Baldwin, and some other small towns. Then the third day we get to run the Prairie Spirit Trail that starts in Ottawa and ends in Iola. And there's a race put on by Outlaw Race Series called the Prairie Spirit 100. And we actually got to run 100 miles on this trail earlier this year. And so we got to preview that section of the course. Day four is, I think, 56 miles from Iola down to Sherryville. And that is unknown to me. I have not previewed the course down there. It is all unseen and should be a lot of fun venturing onto new roads and new territory. And then day five, if we get there, when we get there, will be a shorter day, hopefully of 20 miles from Sherryville to South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. And then we'll celebrate.
I was surprised when he decided that he wanted to be an ultra runner, because I really I can see the joy of it. I can see the camaraderie with all the people that he runs with, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But the pain and everything afterwards, like the feet and everything else like that, I think to myself, why does he enjoy that? But there is a nice, I mean, I imagine he feels really good when he finishes.
Well, actually, Devin was asking me outside if I thought it was really ever going to happen, and I actually had never thought about it. Everything that Sean's talked about usually comes to fruition, so at this point, I'm not surprised. And it wasn't until you just said 250 miles that I'm like, oh yeah, Kansas is a pretty big state. So I'm excited for them. I hope that there's good weather, and it will definitely provide for stories for years to come. So
One of the things that I'm worried about going into this effort is the multi-day nature of it. I've done a 3-day stage race before where it was 50K the first day, 50 miles the second day, and then 20K the third day. And let me tell you, by the time I woke up on the third day and the whistle blew or the air horn blew, I just said, ow, and tried to take off. I mean, it was a limping of an effort. And so I will say that was in the mountains. That was, aggressive cutoff times and really designed by psychopaths, which most of these races are, to be brutal. And so, this thing looks good on paper, but I know that I'm going to need to eat a lot in the evenings. I know I'm going to need to tend to my feet. I know that we're not going to get that much sleep. We might not sleep well at all, but it's all part of it. And one of the things that I think is just incredible about ultra running is just fighting the urge to give up, because there's nothing else in the world that hard. I don't care what work throws at you, family throws at you. The urge to just quit and get in bed or take a shower and go snuggle with my wife and kids gets stronger and stronger the deeper into a run that I go. And so pushing through that just makes me feel like anything's possible, and really getting good at that urge to just give up, which after hearing from my dad, you can imagine that was important to me, and a value that he instilled in me growing up. So I'm grateful for my family's support in this. I'm grateful for the mom and dad that I was blessed with, the wife and kid that I'm blessed with, and really excited to take this thing on.
So something that I've learned in multi-day events is that it requires sleep, and it's really hard to plan out that. But in this case, and there's no clock really running on us, so it'll be a lot easier to plan some sleep each night and recharge our bodies and get back out there. So I'm hoping with that this will be a successful, fun journey across the state. Along with that is the foot pain associated with being on your feet for that long is something that is really painful. But usually you can get through it fine, and just it becomes something that you deal with.
Almost starting day 4. One of the things that I think is just crazy is that my daughter has grown up just knowing this, thinking that, somebody running 50 miles is a normal thing. She comes to these races and just has a blast, and it's just a normal day for her.
You think it's cool when you can see animals when Dad goes running?
Yeah.
All the different landscape?
Mm-hmm.
You want to run with Dad sometime? And when you get older?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So running can be a very selfish sport, but it can also be very selfless. And the way that it's selfless is those who come alongside of you to help you get through some of the struggles that we choose to do with running. But the love and support of my family, my wife has been there every step of the way supporting me in this. And a huge, I would say my biggest fan was my mom, who just recently passed away. And partly why I'm choosing to still do this run is because of her and what her life meant to me and her love and support.
I just want other people to hopefully be inspired by in this is that doing whatever it is you love doing, dive into it, because this was kind of one of those things that really escalated. Wasn't what I intended on being or doing, but it's been an absolute joy, and my life transformed as I started running more and more. It was like that atomic habit that really just transformed other things in my life. And so I hope that you dive into whatever it is you want to do. And it definitely does not and probably should not be running 250 miles. I don't recommend it. But I really appreciate you tagging along, supporting, and I hope that you go after something big, whatever that is to you. Because in something like this, you have to put in the work, but it comes down to luck. One of the things I'm most nervous about is the weather. I mean, that's an X factor. I've ran through lightning storms in the middle of a 100-mile race a month or two ago. But I would not want to do that for an extended period of time on one of our days. And so anything can happen out there. We really hope that this video ends with a successful crossing of the south border of Kansas. But we're really excited to just go out there and give it a try.
We're doing it. Day 5.
Day 5, leaving Cherryvale.
The last part of the last day of the journey. You see the folks coming in. We left Cherryvale this morning. This little stop I'm at is about 9 miles, I believe, from our end point, which is Coffeyville. So the folks are coming in. They got to be exhausted. I know their feet look terrible, but here they come. We're going to rest for a little bit here. Probably one more stop, and then on to the very final stop. This is the pretty result of 250 miles. God. Feet pictures.
Compared to Sean's. Well done.
At the end of the day, when I'm an old man, I'll have a few stories to tell, and I don't regret trying these things. Now, I might reevaluate my own life decisions after this run, but I'm really excited to take it on, and I appreciate you guys tuning into the journey and being a part of it in whatever way you've done. So thank you for sponsoring, supporting, and just tuning in.